I want to be an adult. Yeah, the adult life is nice.
I want the adult life where I'm not held accountable.
I'm not held accountable. But who's holding you accountable for me?
Your generation, people say things. My mom always sees me as not good enough.
Because the one who's supposed to teach me how to describe and deal with things doesn't even know how to deal with them himself. This is the person I'm supposed to be discovering the world through the most.
Even just a teacher who makes a student hate their subject.
And makes you believe for your whole life that you just can't understand this or that.
Now imagine someone I spent all those years with.
So isn't it possible to make mistakes? They make mistakes, your father and mother make mistakes. So what's that supposed to be?
Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. And a new episode that is very, very, very important. They say, and we were told, and we still say, no one loves you as much as your father and mother. But this statement has neither a religious basis nor a scientific one. And they say that you were not commanded on how to treat your children, but your children are commanded on how to treat you, even though God said in the Quran, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, said in the Sunnah at its simplest, protect yourselves and your families from a fire. And in the Sunnah, each of you is a shepherd, and each of you is responsible for his flock. And as Umar ibn al-Khattab said, you have wronged before you were wronged against. In today's episode, we will talk about dealing with harm from parents. This does not mean that we shouldn't honor them, but the picture needs to be clear. What are the limits of dutifulness? What is considered harm, and how do I deal with it? If my family has wronged me, does that mean I have to live as a victim for the rest of my life? With us today is our wonderful guest, Miss Noha Zahra. Welcome, Abu Zahra.
Noha Zahra?
Noha Zahra. Ms. Noha Zahra, who is delightful in her words and comforting in her style. First, I know that people already know you, but let's say for someone who hasn't followed you yet and wants to know who Noha Zahra is, what should they know?
Well, I'd love to introduce myself. Thank you very much, of course, for the very kind introduction. Thank you very much, and I'm honored to be here and to be with you. I like to introduce myself as a writer and a researcher in the humanities. Yes, my main experience is in education and teaching for 20 years, since 2004. And what made me get into the humanities? I have not studied management at the American University since 2012. And I started practicing management, and I found that management, especially in the educational field, requires us to manage ourselves first. Because when I started looking at things from the perspective of education and teaching at the specific level of a school, I realized that no, we actually need to educate ourselves in order to raise our children properly. That's right. And you know, those involved in the educational process need to know a lot about themselves in order to be able to teach the children. So the kids are actually at a disadvantage with us. So I saw this firsthand, and since 2012, I started studying several branches of the humanities, different schools of thought in psychology or positive psychology, things I studied and also taught. And then starting from 2016, I began writing books, attending conferences and doing research. I mean, thank God, by His grace, we've been working in this field for a while now. And I feel that it's truly enjoyable field to understand yourself and to elevate yourself so that you can raise your children and nurture their souls. Nurturing the soul.
Today's episode is about parental harm, not to defend the parents or the child, but so that the cycle of harm doesn't continue. The harm needs to be addressed so that the next generation can be better.
That's right. That's right.
Let's start with you.
Okay, let's clarify that this isn't about blaming parents, because at the end of the day, we are parents ourselves. I'm a mother of 3 children, just to clarify this point. I have Adam, who, God willing, is about to finish engineering, and Layla, may God bless her, has entered medical school, and I have Noah, who is a 1.5 years old.
MashaAllah, may God bless them.
So at the end of the day, I'm a mother with both older and younger children, and when I speak, I'm definitely not just talking. I mean, of course, what I'm saying affects me as well, and it affects their father, any father, really. So before we talk about fathers and mothers, we ourselves are parents. But what matters to me, as I said, is to educate myself and raise my own awareness so I can see whether I'm unconsciously passing on a cycle of harm. Was our upbringing really perfect? As we always say, we always claim we're the best people. The best upbringing.
Yeah, every generation feels the need to outdo the next one.
But is it really true? Were we really raised the best way? And was our upbringing really 100% flawless, with nothing at all wrong with it? So when we studied emotions and learned in psychology classes, we found that just the fact that you don't know how to manage your emotions or your thoughts leads to certain behaviors. So if I haven't learned this and I don't know how to do it, then that's not, yeah. And just because I got older, turned 30, 40, or 50, and got the title of father, I took the title of sister, or got the title of mother, as long as I don't know how to do this, then I just have the title, but I lack emotional maturity. So let's clarify that we're talking about emotionally immature parents, not necessarily abusive ones. Let's avoid using that word so we're not being too harsh.
Right? Because sometimes the harm isn't intentional.
It might be intentional, but let's highlight this point. The point is that at our core, we are emotional beings. So if emotions are a fundamental part of me and my psychological well-being is essential, but this aspect was neglected for me personally, then I will end up neglecting those who come from Memi children who are the most important people to me. So the first point here is, how have we been affected as adults by the way we were raised? So for those of us in our 40s or 50s, or even those listening in their 30s show, have we as adults been affected by being raised in an environment that lacked a lot of maturity? So to summarize, I try to gather these effects into a few specific points. The first thing is that from a young age, we experience something called emotional loneliness.
Emotional unity.
What is emotional loneliness? It's when many times things happen to us and we feel the urge to run to someone. The example we always mention is the story of Prophet Yusuf, and he was frightened by his dream. He wanted to run to someone, to tell them about it, to throw himself into their arms, to feel safe with them. He wanted to share what was in his heart, and he did so with his father.
And without judging him or anything like that.
Without judging him. So here, am I that person in my life or for my children? Or do we just sit and mock and say what? The secret that I tell my mother and say to her, this is a secret between you and me. It gets spread around at your mother's place. There is no God but Allah.
Social media.
Social media. There are people who write comments to my children about the secret I told. And this creates a sense of distrust from a young age and makes me feel alone. I'm afraid to talk because the phones are always listening. I'm afraid to share
my feelings, or I'm afraid to share what hurts me or what scares me with the person who is supposed to be my safe space.
That is true.
Like Ahmed Sheeb says, the ones close to me are upset here. The ones close to me don't feel safe.
Yes, and we do this. So the first thing we don't realize is that we are not aware that we are not a safe place or a secure refuge. And as a result, I end up lacking supportive human companionship.
Meaning,
who can I feel safe with?
It's like there's no real friend to be friend. What's next?
So who is left for me? Okay, the two people who introduced me to life are either not interested, or they mock what I say, or they make fun of me, or they betray my trust. So who can I trust?
Attachment is when people emotionally are born with this need for a safe haven, like you mentioned. Yes, so for me, they are the safety.
They are the safety. So if they're not there, then there's a part of me.
It automatically just becomes empty.
Oh, I am empty and I don't know who to fill it with. There's no one who can fill that.
Surely people have come to you and said that your mom and I always think you are not good. No matter how many people in the world tell me I'm good, I still don't feel good enough. I don't believe them. It's like, were mom and dad just lying to me? Because once that sense of safety is broken, that's the person I would have felt safest with.
That's the person through whom I'm supposed to get to know the world. So if that person neglects me, abandons me, and treats me this way just because they don't know how to handle their own emotions, then when I get angry, cry, or feel sad, what happens? Nothing. There's no good way of dealing with me. So as a result, I feel lonely.
The closest person to me who doesn't make me whole, then who else will stand by me?
This loneliness is actually a very painful feeling, like physical pain. But for us, because we don't understand ourselves, that is, our psychological side, we end up feeling intense pain, a sense of emptiness, a kind of void that we can't even describe. Because the person who is supposed to teach me how to express and deal with my feelings doesn't know how to deal with them either. On the contrary, he comes to me with what is like the famous sentence, if you cry, for example, he says to you, cry well, or shall I give you what you cried about? What is it? Why are you crying? Why are you crying? Are you upset about something? No, it's like for you to cry, there must be a reason. But that reason doesn't exist. So I feel like an emotional loneliness is created because every time I express my feelings,
they're met with disapproval and rejection.
Exactly. So as a result, from all the pain, a kind of adaptation starts to happen.
Adapting despite the loneliness.
Adapting despite the loneliness. What comes out of this adaptation is that the needs of others become more important than my own needs.
Yeah, it's a matter of order.
Prioritizing. Setting priorities. I mean, I end up hiding the feelings I have. Because every time I try to express them, I get hurt, or instead of calming down, they punish me.
So the one who is deprived ends up giving others what he himself needs.
And I've seen this in educational institutions in general. I taught teenagers, I taught in several systems and taught younger kids. And I used to observe from an administrative perspective. So I would see how parents interacted with their children. So for example, I would see during break time, someone would give another person food or give them their allowance just so they would let them hang out with them during the break. That's why I'm telling you, the consequences of this issue are really painful.
Is it possible? Okay, I'll give my interpretation. And you tell me, since your review is very thorough, so tell me if I'm right about the money. I felt that my father working all day was more important than spending time with me, more important than listening to me. And that work was the priority. So money became more important than me. So for me, I see money as the barrier between me and other people. Take the money and come closer.
Yes.
And maybe my mom makes food for me because she cares about my health. But because she spends so much time in the kitchen, she doesn't sit with me, right? Take my sandwiches, but just sit with me.
It's very possible that this is exactly how you're interpreting it, but I, for my part, have already given up on both my father and mother. I mean, it happens with kids and it becomes really obvious during adolescence. People always come to us and say things like, my son has changed. I don't know who he's hanging out with anymore. He can't stand me anymore. He's become disrespectful. And he's always angry. This is the state after they've gotten used to being alone, which usually lasts until about 4th, 5th or 6th grade. Then when they start entering the stage where they aspire to grow up, to live the adult life, those adults who are a mess and do whatever they want. And in front of them, there are no kids, no rules, and they're yelling, snapping, and lashing out. But it's okay because they're carrying responsibilities and aren't trustworthy. Me, I want to. I'm grown up. Yeah, the adult life is nice.
He wants the adult life when no one holds him accountable.
You don't think so? Who is there to hold you accountable, really? Just because you had me, does that mean you get to make my life miserable? Literally. So I want the adult life that I'm living now. Yeah, I do whatever I want because I'm an adult.
At that point, we might find that the older brother starts imitating the father's behavior with his siblings.
The elder sister imitates the mother's behavior with her siblings. And that's when the very primitive part of the brain kicks in, which is repetition. Or when situations repeat, the denial of what I'm experiencing happens. So what happens is a repetition of what I lived through, which is exactly what you just mentioned.
Even though I'm upset, I'm not aware that I'm repeating it.
Why do I repeat it? Because I'm denying it denial. It creates repetition because the primitive part of the brain is what it takes. For it, the whole issue is about familiarity. What I know is what I keep repeating.
It's like the story of the monkey and the banana where they use electricity on them. Or if the monkey gets close to the banana, it gets shocked. Yes? He doesn't understand why he's being electrocuted. So I denied it. So when another one comes in and finds it getting hit because of it, anyone who comes in will do the same to them, right? I'll keep repeating this because I denied it.
That's right.
But if I accept that it could happen, maybe I won't repeat it.
Absolutely right. And this repetition, we see it. What do we see in schools? For example, if you go to complain that someone has decided to go around hitting the kids at school, then he gets hit himself. Violence leads to more violence. Or someone decides to submit when he sees everyone getting hit. He shrinks back, gets scared, and sits aside.
So what kind of repetition is this?
It's submission. It's either you decide to be the one who harms, I'm the one who will hit her, you become submissive, and your needs are lost.
Could it be that the violence is, for example, my father hits me? Yes. So I took that since I have a body that knows how to hit. Sometimes I hit back. But if I'm still being beaten and my body is growing, but I can't resist, I submit.
Exactly. Your coping mechanisms are either submission, like staying close to the wall so you don't get hit. You walk, close to the wall out of fear just to be safe and all that. Or I repeat the pattern, meaning I become the abuser. As long as I'm the one hitting, no one can hurt me.
Both ways. I'm protecting myself by submitting and the other by hitting back.
And sometimes that has its own value. Hello. As long as he's the one doing the hitting, he's not the one being hit. I'm fine. I mean, I won't argue with him. I'll just go along, but it'll all be on their terms. So where does the sense of familiarity come from here? For me, safety means repeating what I already know.
Yeah, that's the easiest way. I know that when I get upset, I curse.
What I know is better than what I don't know. Exactly, because I see that my father is in control and that's what he does. Or I see that my mother is in control and that's what she does. So that's it. I'll just do what I learned. Because at the end of the day, I get to know the world through them. Right? So what they see as right is right for me. And what's wrong for them is wrong for me.
Until I run into things in society that contradict that. After that, this happens.
And then, but the amount of confusion that happens, for example, during the school years until they finish school is just overwhelming between unjustified violence because they're just repeating what they see and unjustified submission. I set priorities and all of them are just coping mechanisms because neither the father nor the mother taught them how to deal with life.
Okay, let me ask a question. Maybe the answer will come up later. But my father used to treat me badly, neglect me, and hit me. So when I was a teenager, I got into a relationship with a girl. I found that the girl responded to that, but repeating what I saw, just like Adam, didn't get me any results. I found that the girl wasn't responsive and rejected that behavior. So here I started to feel angry at my father, blaming him for making me lose out. And I began to change. What does that not happen? It does happen.
That will happen later. But the amount of confusion happens during the school years before we even reach adulthood. There's a lot of confusion about who's right and who's wrong. And most of the time I say that I'm the one who's wrong.
I blame myself because I was blamed.
Because surely my father and mother can't be the ones at fault. It must be me who's bad. That's why they're rejecting me. That's why they're punishing me.
I think so. I mean, now it's become more common, and a lot of people understand that maybe their father or mother could have made mistakes.
When they grow up, but as long as you're still in elementary, middle, or high school, you see yourself as the one who's wrong. Surely the father and mother whose roles are sacred must be perfect, and I'm the one who's... So why are they restricting me?
For example, let's say Farag doesn't like to sit and study, and all day long he's being scolded for Ive's not going to see his father and mother as being wrong. He'll see himself as Farag and that their way is annoying. Yeah. Or you see that you...
In general, you very often tend to see yourself as the one at fault. You almost always think in your mind that you're the one bothering them, that you are the reason for their anger, that they hit you perhaps because they love you. Yeah, mixing harm with love. Why am I hitting you?
It distorts your mental image of love.
So everything becomes distorted for you and you can't tell what's right and what's wrong. And most of the time, you tend to think that you're the one who's wrong. Do you understand? Do you get it? Their lives became difficult ever since I came along.
That's if someone is fed these kinds of messages.
I was fed those messages.
I mean, it's not just that my father hits me and that's it. My father hits me and then my mother tells me he hits you because he loves you. It's repeated over and over.
Pay attention to what your father says to you while he's hitting you. Study. Look at your responsibilities. I'm working myself to death because of you all day long. What am I doing?
I'm the reason for the pain he's in.
I'm the reason their lives became harder since I came and their lives have been difficult.
And I might find the brother who is the rebellious one, the one who fights back, who sees that his father is wrong, while the other brother, the submissive one, tells him, well, you're the one provoking them. Look at how exhausted they are. So the messages don't always have to come from the father and mother.
Among 3 or 4 siblings, you find 2 or 3 of them hiding under the chair like, Dad, can I make you some tea? Or like, please, I beg you.
That's submission.
Submission, you know?
I'll get you the belt.
Take the shoe and hit me with it. So there ends up being the rebellious one who gets beaten 90 times until he gives in. What is it between? No, I don't want that.
I saw what happened to him. I don't want that to happen to me. How did that happen to him?
So in the wider society, like in schools, you find the submissive one who pays the price for acceptance and develops these coping mechanisms. No, I don't want to get hit, so I just think everyone is harmful. So he grows up seeing society as an unsafe place, and based on that, he either thinks I'll get you before you get me and starts lashing out at anyone. Or he just stays on the sidelines, and if someone passes by and smacks him on the back of the head, he doesn't even react. Of course, I don't want my child to end up like that.
No, it's always about balancing out extremes, but the middle ground.
So where is this balance supposed to come from? If I don't even know how to deal with what's going on inside me, right? So for example, I feel empty. What am I supposed to do about that? Okay, so let's say we grow up, finish university and start working. What happens then is that you what does that even mean? You end up working for them. Or in other words, your complete loyalty comes at the expense of suppressing your own emotional state. Because your full loyalty always has to be to your family. So if you get engaged, get married, do anything, they have to be satisfied. And then this conflict starts to happen with the wider society as well. So you find that in order to get engaged, get married, or move forward, they somehow make your life more difficult. For example, a girl, for instance, gets a marriage proposal from someone she doesn't like, or she's just not convinced by him. So her mother might say to her, do you understand what you're doing? Do you want people to say that we keep rejecting suitors? And do you realize that if you turn him down, you might not get another proposal?
And then no matter how rebellious she is, they can force her. And then the submissive one, that is, they will find what is best for the submissive one.
At that point, the submissive person is told to accept what's best. Exactly. And she might end up married for 7, 8, or even 10 years, have children, all while she never wanted this, living in a constant state of emotional suppression that keeps her in a cycle of submission, from one act of submission to another. Now imagine this mother as she raises her children, and imagine a new family entering society while we're still stuck in the same terrible loop, not knowing where it will end. This creates a feeling we call a sense of being trapped by the parents.
The mold they put you in, don't move from it, don't budge.
You want to break out of it and move on. If only...
Sometimes the mold is, you're going to study languages. I am not good at it. You memorize the Quran with Sheikh so-and-so, but I don't have the ability. You're going to play this specific sport, exactly this one. I don't like it. There's no
such thing as I don't like it. What do you mean you don't like it? What else do you have to do? So this is one of the types we'll be talking about. There are 4 types. One of the types of fathers is the kind who they go through life as if something is pushing them along. As long as you're my son, you have to become something.
Was that you? Were you like that?
Yes, and for example, I used to wonder, what does something even mean? Like, do you really have to become something? So what exactly is this something?
Yeah. Like, if I'm a doctor and my son wants to go into the humanities, how could that be?
Exactly, humanities. And that infamous phrase, humanities is for the ill-mannered. Excuse me for saying that.
That's the first time I've heard that. Interesting. Humanities is for the ill-mannered.
My father said that to me right at the start. He said, humanities. Then told me, you're one of those humanities people. I asked, so Dad, since it's called humanities, does that mean the name will stick? That's what I meant.
So humanities as in manners?
I mean, who even came up with that? You know, there's always someone in the family who has questions, and I was always that person. I'd ask, really, Dad, is that why people go into it? Is that really why they called it humanities? He told me, no, but that's just what people say. Who said it? People just say it, but don't go on and on about it. So I feel like, you know, there's never really an end to the topic. That's me.
There are no logical answers.
There are no logical answers.
So that's not going to settle it.
Exactly. All right, now let's talk about the traits. The traits of immature people, immature parents. You'll notice they have this thing, like they're rigid in their thinking. We call it one-track thinking.
Flexible.
It's either this or that, either this or that. That's how it is with me. There's no discussion. Either or, it's either this or that. Mom, I don't like black-eyed peas. Well, then Noha, there's no food.
I think you like the okra this time.
So what am I going to eat? I just got back and I'm hungry and, you know, there's nothing new. I don't like black-eyed peas. There's nothing else. You'll eat this.
Just try it this time. You'll like it.
But when you get hungry, you'll eat. So it's like a one-track way of thinking. It's like, I don't care what you like or don't like. No, I just do what I want. And if you don't like it, too bad. That's one of its characteristics.
Authoritarianism isn't authority. It's domination. Yes, authority. Authority. I am responsible for you. Part of it is protection, providing, raising, and guiding. But authoritarianism, part of it is about forcing things.
And you always find men joking, saying, so why are you asking me what I want if you're just going to make whatever you want in the end? What are we going to eat? And in the end, you make us something like beans. And the man...
He just goes along with anything.
Exactly. And if he says, you don't make what I want, she replies, then why do you ask me? So there's always something a bit illogical about the whole atmosphere.
It's just repetitions. Like you said, my mother used to ask, what do you want to eat? So I have to ask too, even if I'm going to make something else, but I still have to ask.
That's true. That's true. So here, you also find that one of their traits is that their ability to handle stress is low.
Because they lack flexibility.
So as soon as any tension happens, for example, if the father is sitting watching a match and hears something, and the mother not knowing what to do, finds her son, tries to teach him to write something, and he doesn't write it. So she raises her voice. Suddenly there's a lot of noise. And because of the tension and the loud voices, they just can't handle it.
Change itself is overwhelming.
Just because... for example, I taught you how to write something or gave you a certain piece of information and you gave me the opposite or told me it was wrong. That means I've triggered you and they don't know how to deal with tension.
Like memorizing the multiplication table, for example. Oh my God, okay.
Oh my God.
I'm serious. I mean, by the way, I'm a science person and I really love numbers. It's just a difference in...
Why did we even memorize it? Honestly, the multiplication table for me was a whole saga.
Come on, I'm listening.
And suddenly you'd get asked, what's 7 times 7? Which is what it means.
7 times 7 is easy. It's always 7 times 9. 7 times 9.
You go to your uncle, you go to your other uncle, and you find...
7 times 9.
Like, am I supposed to memorize 7 times 9 just because my mom wants me to know 7 times 9 or what?
He didn't find the calculator available. And it was there since, I don't know, her son had it. Honestly, it really doesn't matter to me. Back in the day, it was necessary. Yeah, just like now. The air conditioner has a remote. Why would I go turn it on manually when there's a remote? Yeah, why? Why reinvent the wheel? So now we get into that one-track thinking, which is what exactly?
Is it like, do you have to discuss everything? Is it that you have to argue about everything? Argue, and then you get upset in the end when I tell you and correct you? So the way to deal with them is just to listen and do as you're told. That's it. This leads us to the fact that they see themselves as doing what makes them look better, not necessarily what's actually best.
Meaning?
Meaning, for example, if I feel that to end the situation, I need to grab the book, tear it up and turn everything upside down. That will help me vent my anger a bit. So I do whatever makes me feel better. It doesn't matter what the actual consequences are for you.
Like, for example, I'm going out with my friend. So there's no going out. And look what I did. I took your phone and broke it so you can't talk to her. That's it.
And then when we actually talk about it, I'll say, well, you know, you're the one who made me do this after all.
You're the one who provoked me. It's your fault.
You provoked me. So all of this just reinforces the idea that ever since you came, you've ruined the household. Ever since you came, you've made your father's life harder, your mother's life harder, and caused problems in the family.
When he goes out, he leaves the house upset. You're the one who did this. You're the reason your father acts this way.
There's this thing your father saw on Facebook. Someone jokingly says, "Are you happy with this?" Now your father has left the house upset. And what if he runs into a thief who attacks him, or something happens and your father dies? It'll all be because of you. Ha 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 ha. And really, your mother also gives you a catastrophic scenario. So you always feel like, did I come into this world just to ruin everything?
It's like the series Maktubalaya by Akram Hosni. It talks about exactly that. Yeah, it's amazing.
He's amazing. So funny in the series.
Like when something happens, you forget the key, you lose it, you forget it, you lose it. You see? That's kindness. I forgot it inside.
Emotionally immature fathers, stepfathers, and mothers closed off. What does that mean?
I only show you what I read.
And on the other hand, for example, I know a specific case of a girl who adores her father. She loves her father very much, respects him a lot and all that. So her mother, every time she talks to her, complains to her about her father. So she tells her mom, "Excuse me, but maybe, my brother so-and-so just accepts what I say. But as for me..."
Let me love him, leave him to me. Maybe things didn't work out between you as a couple, but he's fine with me.
I mean, he's good with me, So, sorry, but maybe tell someone in the next room.
The room right next door, or any other room.
On the left, he'll just accept it. So she says, then who should I talk to? No, I won't talk.
No, I'm telling you, he's my brother.
Yeah, but for her, she sees that as crossing a line and being disrespectful when I...
Let's be logical. If you talk to a guy, he barely gives you any response at all.
Yeah, well, no.
I'll talk to you. You're a girl, so you'll talk.
That's it. But the whole idea, as you said, is that his role as a husband is one thing and his role as a father is something else.
That's why even a girl who really loves her father and sees him as amazing might want her husband to be just like him. No, you saw him in his role as a father, not as a husband.
Exactly. So that's also something a lot of people struggle with. A guy gets married and tells his wife, "I want you to make me molokia just like my mom used to make it for me."
My mom never knew how to say, "Go stay at your mother's house."
Yeah, exactly. And of course, if we responded like that, it would be considered rude.
Well, that's it. Just pass it on to auntie, let her make you molokia, go to your aunt.
But really, it's just that these are such simple, basic things about the different roles that we, for some reason, never actually learned or were ever really properly taught at any point.
By the way, talking about molokia is also a repetition.
Repetition?
So, taro, is green and healthy, right? Can you imagine making taro with a red sauce? No, if you walked into the house and found that being served to you, what would you think?
I mean, I'd be surprised, but... we could try it. Maybe we could try it and it might turn out well.
What if there was another dish you like served alongside it?
Most likely, no.
Try it?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, if I understand correctly, you're from Cairo, not Alexandria, right?
From Cairo?
Did you know that in Alexandria, feta doesn't have red sauce?
No, that's the best part.
How do you eat it? Yeah, exactly. Look, let me show you how to eat it. Yeah, even though over there they just eat it like that, it's normal for them. By the way, in Syria, the molokia leaves are actually quite different from the ones we have here. They're not like ours at all.
Yeah.
So it's like I got used to it. So for me, that's what's normal. But for someone else, it's not.
Absolutely, absolutely right. This leads to a disaster in how we handle roles. Because I shouldn't be telling the girl, or of course distorting her image of her father. Because what does that end up turning into later? So, for example, the girl becomes accepting of people talking about her father. Well, couldn't she end up hating men and hating life?
That's possible.
She could end up hating her mother.
Feeling sorry for mother.
And let me tell you something else I saw in another case. The son who accepts people talking about his father, he used to accept it and even respond. That's it. So he also wants to see the pattern of a wife in his mother. Yeah, so he observes that just as soon as she turns around, she talks about him or complains that she doesn't understand something about him. Or if he asks her to do something, she says, well, I swear I'm not going to do it, for example, with her son who is supposed to be her safe space. So he also develops
doubt.
Doubt when he gets married. He becomes suspicious.
But for example, if by nature I see the phone ringing and I don't answer, you see? Yeah. So if someone calls and I don't answer, she definitely saw it.
Yeah, yes. So all of this took the female figure from his mother and adopted it. Like if as a son, I grew up seeing my father and mother as sacred. So I took on the female figure there and adopted it. And I started to see that all women in my relationships are untrustworthy. That their minds are on one thing, what they say is something else, and what they're planning for you is something else entirely. You just step out from here and something will happen.
All of this is harm.
And this is definitely harm.
And without realizing it, he ends up harming generations to come.
It's absolutely true that it makes his life difficult and makes life difficult in general. And you find that he gets married once, twice, even 3 times because he never goes back to reconsider the mistake in the female figure he has adopted. That's why we say what? We're just presenting the topic objectively. We don't want to divide parents. But as fathers and mothers, we want to open your hearts a little. Look, there's a psychologist named Bowen. And when he looked into the matter, he's actually a psychiatrist who treats cases of schizophrenia. Cases, meaning mental illness. And he kept looking into what causes people to develop this mental illness. He found that parental abuse over the course of 3 generations.
Meaning
you.
What I passed on to my son, my grandfather passed it on to my son.
You and I, our actions will affect another 3 generations as well. So what I do to my children today could affect 3 more generations. Even after I'm gone and forgotten, they could end up suffering from psychological or mental illness because of my negative influence. If they keep passing it down from one to another, things just go from bad to worse.
If I teach my child a verse and he passes it on to others, there's a chain of good deeds, and the same goes for negative influence.
It's that simple. But what do we always focus on? On the positive impact?
Even though the negative impact isn't always clear.
We just say, God willing, may God have mercy on us and hopefully we won't face hardships. But why make life harder? You don't know what? No, we need to be diligent and do our part. We need to do our homework.
Even just a teacher can make a student hate their subject.
And make you believe that you'll never understand this or that for your whole life.
Now imagine someone I spent all these years with.
Yes, that's true. But you rely on them to learn about life. We rely on the father and mother. The case of the child who depends on the mother figure, this is a case I've seen at different stages of their life. The advantage of working with people is that I see them being raised through different stages, and then I see them later on when they start living their own lives, struggling.
And there are those who say, I saw this, I did that, I could be his father. I know someone may, God have mercy on him, whose father was extremely organized. It was extremely violent. The son grew up deeply hating order and truly hating aggression.
Exactly. He rejects the father figure, both the good and the bad sides.
Exactly.
And sometimes he rejects the father figure, but only takes the bad parts from him.
It happens, and this does happen.
A lot. He can't be as organized as his father. But he ends up being very aggressive. Sometimes, for example, you find someone who's hot-tempered, but he hits and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't clean up, so he only inherits the temper but doesn't clean up. The world opens up to him. Open from it. When he himself tells you, okay, solve it for me, help me out, find a solution. I'm not going to help you. Where do I even start? Everything in your life is completely messed up.
But you said that the primitive mind is a defensive mind. Yeah, the conscious mind gathers up the unconscious and controls that impulsiveness. So if I work on myself, just you're explaining step by step, at that point, my impulsive unconscious will settle down because I've healed from within.
Exactly. It will be regulated by the conscious mind, and it will be organized because you actually brought out the problem and exposed it to the light. That's why I see the role of the podcast today as shining a light on a dark corner that we all hate. And denial is what causes denial.
It won't benefit you?
That we keep repeating the same thing.
This sentence is so you understand?
Yes.
So apply it, not to blame or live in the victim's role.
One of the traits also of parents who lack maturity is that when we grow up, for example, and I sit and tell my mom about a problem between me and my husband, how do all roads lead back to them? If I tell her about a problem between me and my husband, you'll find her saying something.
Men are just that.
Yeah, and if I ask you, what did your father used to do? So we end up spending 2 hours talking about stories that have been told 100,000 times before.
By the way, I was just coming for the iron. That's all I needed.
But in the end, it all comes down to you just honestly and sincerely thanking God. Honestly, there's really nothing wrong at all. You were,
When I was suffering even more than you.
You guys were living in total devastation. So this is actually pretty good. Thank God. That's it. I'm just going to leave it at that. But you end up feeling, what is it that I'm just telling you about myself? I need my feelings. I need to say what's right about them and what's wrong. To set boundaries, when should I do that?
About feelings. We want to help people understand what feelings really mean.
Actually, even when I'm feeling angry, even as we actually teach this as a science, when I'm angry, I tell him, I feel you're really angry. Because feelings have, yes, I am. I'm very upset, very angry, and very sad about what I've come to.
I agree that you have the right to bother me.
You have the right to be upset with me, yes. And I see that and I understand that. And if I were in your place, yes, most lie, I would be really sad or really, really angry too.
But yes, I just have to act cool and just try to handle it. That's all.
But for me, all roads lead to the same day. You say that, I just go,
What do you think your dad is?
I'm telling you about the one who acted that. Okay, and then we start telling a story in another direction of father, the one no one used to talk about either. You'll find that there are a few mistakes you all make together. And let's take it to another point on of their traits is that you can't really blame them. Blame them. Your father and mother made a mistake. What is this? Are you crazy? You're the son of a sensible person. Yeah, yes. Well, no one told me because you just can't. You see the mistake or you feel the mistake, but you just don't know how to make a mistake. You don't know what to do and you don't know how to go back on it. You don't know how to turn to them because they just don't understand you.
Yeah, that's it. And at that point, we go back again to emotional loneliness, even as adults.
I'm an adult and I still don't know what to do and I fall back into it again. Repetition. Here, familiarity is found in safety, in familiarity in repetition. I'll find emotional loneliness with my husband. I'll find emotional loneliness with my wife because that's what I was raised on and that's it.
Again, I saw my mother do this every time I tried to talk to her. So as a woman, I might find myself automatically doing the same thing with my husband when he tries to talk to me.
With my husband?
Or I find that my husband is the one with the trigger. So when I try to share something with him, he gets angry.
And this brings us to another point, the exchange of roles as children. Instead of them introducing us to the world and teaching us how to manage our emotions, handle our thoughts, set our boundaries, and know what to do and what not to do, what's right and what's wrong, what's forbidden and what's allowed, we end up taking on those roles ourselves. We find a reversal of roles. For example, dad comes home from work upset, and it's supposed to be us who calm him down. Or mum tells me about dad and starts crying, and I have to say, Mum, didn't we agree not to talk about dad, for example? I mean, I'm telling you, that's exactly it. This is what you get, honestly. God is sufficient for me, and he is the best disposer of affairs. So I end up saying, I'm sorry, sweetheart, really? And you find that in the end, you're the one apologizing.
Just stay quiet and spare yourself. There's no use.
About a value that's supposed to be important, something religiously significant, who are we supposed to gossip about? It's all the values that are innate in us end up getting distorted.
I understand.
And you end up apologizing just for asking that this value be upheld.
It won't be upheld.
And it won't be upheld. That's just how it is, and that's that.
I used to that.
That was it. And you eat yogurt and find yourself apologizing in the end. And the yogurt is in the bathroom. You don't even know if you ate it. So you feel you're living in a world of nonsense. There's nothing convincing, nothing at all. And then you try to speak from the heart, to speak with love. They have an emotional numbness and a fear of feelings. I mean, we're afraid because we were raised to believe that those who express genuine emotions, especially our parents, get abandoned, rejected, punished, or even beaten. So from repetition, I actually develop a phobia about expressing genuine emotions. The moment I feel angry, I suppress it. Or if I feel sad, I don't show it. Are you crying? No, just a little. I don't cry because I'm afraid of so many things lighting up in my mind. I wonder, how will I be punished? Will it be through abandonment or rejection?
Boys, don't cry because you're a man. And girls, just go to your room, leave her.
Go to your room, and when you're done, come back. So these are the traits that show up. If you remember something else, for example, in emotionally immature parents, these are the obvious traits. So if you have something else to add, maybe...
It's me. Either way, I won't listen to you. And even if I do, I won't feel what you're feeling. And even if I do feel it, I won't act on it. And even if I do act, I won't guide you on exactly how to do it. Usually, it comes from that attitude of just forget about it. Or for example, I can express my anger in a certain way, but you're not allowed to express your anger in the same way. When I got upset, I hit you. But when you got upset and hit your brother, I'll punish you. Exactly. I start giving you mixed messages. In one situation, you get rewarded, and in the other, you get punished. For example, a little girl is taking a shower. Her mom is sitting with her friends in the living room, and the girl keeps calling, Mom, the towel, Mom, the towel. But there's no response. So the girl comes out without any clothes, and her mom laughs, her friends laugh, and everyone just laughs it off. So the girl understood that this behavior is funny. So the next day, she walks around the apartment and her mom hits her. I don't understand. Here you laughed, and here you hit. Exactly. This inconsistency doesn't teach me anything. Like, if you finish your plate, you get scolded for not leaving anything for others. Then another day, you leave some food for others and you get scolded for not finishing your plate. So what am I supposed to do?
All right, here's a very important question that gets asked. Why is it that when anyone listens to us now, they feel this applies to them? Why do so many parents have these traits, not all, but a significant number? Yes, of course. So here they say that when they looked back at how they themselves were raised, So, for example, if you open your heart and talk to one of the parents, you'll find, for instance, if a daughter says to her mother, I'm upset with you because you, rubber.
Amr hugged me.
Or even when you serve food, for example, you serve food in a way that you give my brother more than me, you don't treat us equally. For example, you don't give me the same amount of protein as you give him. You always give me a small portion and give him a large one. Why is that? What's the reason? That really bothers me, for example. So you'll find the mother saying, and this is something they actually found my daughter, it used to be that in the past. My dear, back then the boys would sit and eat. And when they finished, we would sit and eat whatever was left over. You see, so it's even harder.
So she's doing you a favor.
So in her mind, she's just following what she was taught. Oh. When, for example, you start talking about physical punishment, you will hear things. Back in our day, we used to get hit by the sheikh, by the teacher at school, and even get beaten with a stick against the wall. And my uncle could just come over and slap me 30 times while I was sitting there, and my father would say, bravo.
Even if the kids say, Dad, you did this to the people sitting there, I think you hit them once.
Just once, son? I was hitting you, son, before breakfast. Yeah, so you feel he's comparing it to his own upbringing, so that's how he sees it.
I did my duty with you.
I did my duty with you without even making an effort. So why is there harm? Because psychologists symbolize it as being a certain tree called the advanced bonsai tree. It's a tree that looks a big tree, but it can fit in something this small, so it grows that way. His psychological growth is actually stunted, so everything is limited and small scale, and he can't handle anything that expands. It scares him.
Yeah.
The immature father and mother, their whole world is already narrow.
When you give lectures or presentations to parents, you'll notice that they're almost always, in some way, a little bit afraid.
Yes, and they're always in denial. I've done your homework for you without putting in any effort. I am the harm. But why is that? Because what do psychologists symbolize it with? They say it's like a tree called the advanced bonsai tree. It's a tree that looks like a big tree, but it can fit in something this small. So its psychological growth is actually stunted and everything is limited. So he doesn't even know anything that expands scares him.
Yeah.
Immature parents, their whole world is already very narrow.
When you give lectures to parents, especially in group settings, they're always a bit concerned or worried.
Yeah. And they're in denial.
And there are topics that if you get close to, they'll get angry.
Let me tell you something. When I was studying this topic, it was like my mind was deleting a denial. I spent years studying this topic. I didn't want anyone to say anything to me about my father or my mother because they're placed in this kind of sacred position for us, just because they're playing the role of parents. And how do they act? It's like we didn't do anything wrong. Who are you to say I did something wrong or what? But after you grow up and you actually become important.
So if the kids come and blame you while you're still in the stage of deleting or denial.
I'll keep repeating. Denial, repetition.
What is if the kids come and blame you while you're still in the stage where mom and dad aren't held accountable, you'll get stuck in it. That's right. But after I realize that they made mistakes, I'll also understand that when my kids come and blame me, it's possible that I made mistakes too.
I saw a mother whose daughter actually told her, Mom, I feel like you. She started to deny it, meaning she began to move out of the denial stage and slowly started to walk the path of recovery. So when her daughter came and told her, what did she say? Why did you ask my brother but not me? I feel like you treat us differently. So she didn't deny her daughter's feelings. She said, no, I really did it. Remind me, please. Oh, maybe I just didn't notice. But you have every right to be upset if I did that. Remind me, and if I do it again, point it out to me and I'm sorry.
But that's it. The cycle of harm stopped.
But if I'm not emotionally mature, what happens with emotionally immature parents? When did that happen? Where did that happen? What happened exactly? And then, you just want to go out at night. So it always feels like there's some kind of denial, lying, or unjustified anger. It's like I touched a sore spot for you, as they say. Why not just deal with it? There was an abscess and I just touched it. Why not drain it so you can feel better, so you can be at ease before I am? You'd feel better. So emotional immaturity creates a kind of phobia of what? I'm afraid to express my true feelings and real thoughts. How dare you, as my child, do that?
Who are you in Egypt to answer back to?
As your mother, I'm actually afraid, but I can't say that. So what happens instead? What happens is that the anger and frustration get projected onto her daughter or her son, whoever it is, because showing your true self or your real thoughts is something scary.
Yeah. of course. It is scary because you don't know what will happen after you reveal yourself. But as soon as you see the results, you feel reassured.
Absolutely right. And lastly, and most importantly,
Man has a deadline.
this is the truth about me.
I don't know what would happen if it all came out.
So what do? We've gotten to the point where we deny our feelings and don't know how to deal with them to the extent that we're actually afraid of them. So one of the most important traits of emotionally mature parents is this. They focus on everything physical and material.
Meaning you,
What are you lacking? You eat, you drink, you have clothes, you go to the club. I get you the best food and the best drink. So why are you upset? It's not like you can't find food or drink. So the children, yes, I am upset, but honestly, I don't really know why. I can't figure out how to express what's inside me. But I feel a sense of isolation. I feel down. I feel tired. I feel like I don't know who to talk to or where to turn. But logically, you're right. It's true. It's not like I'm lacking food or anything. Thank you. I eat, I drink, and I have clothes.
but I need you.
I need you. I just don't know how to say it to you. Especially when she asks you under what category, under the category of comparing, like, what are you missing? You eat, you drink, you sleep, you study. What more do you need?
Fine. If I sit here and don't eat, I'll just say fine to you.
Yeah. If you don't find anything to eat, you won't find anyone eating. So you feel like I'm scaring you about what? About the past, about the unknown future. And honestly, if I talk to you this way, you'll just be waiting for me to finish the conversation and end it with fine so you can leave. So this is the complaint of most parents. They say, when my kids reach adolescence,
They isolate themselves from me. They become withdrawn.
they don't talk to me. They just sit in their room. When I talk to them, they're disrespectful. I can't get a word out of them. Honestly, it used to be different. They were polite and obedient. So for them as well, what's it called? The golden child, the one whose traits are calmness and obedience.
Yeah, I tell him to sit and he does.
Yeah, just a look was enough.
The other one, I tell him to sit and he jumps around and sticks out his tongue, so I hit him.
I tell him, you didn't listen to me, and I hit him and he sits quietly. But this one, if I hit him, he says, you didn't hurt me. No, it's not easy. I can't get through to him. So I just don't know how to deal with him. It's like, you don't even know how to deal with yourself.
And sometimes we often dislike the child who has the same trait as you.
Yes. Because he's like a mirror for you.
He's holding up a mirror to himself.
Yeah. There was a mother who once said, ever since my daughter started at your school, she talks back to me. Every time I say something, she tells me no. No, like that. She was saying it in a certain way, so I asked, she was talking to a consultant, and she saw them talking. So the consultant asked her, did she start doing this only after coming to the school? Was there nothing like this before she joined? She said no.
In the same way, in the exact same way.
So she asked her, look, how do you say no yourself? She got embarrassed, her face turned red, and she said, yes. She told her, she's copying you. Yes, maybe it started when she joined the school, but the way you say no is exactly the same. And really, the girl says it exactly the same way you do. So that was it. To me, it was a really great move from the consultant and a very nice reaction from the mother that she didn't deny it. So the key point here is the solution, not denying it, right? Because denial keeps me going in circles. As a father or a mother, I want to get out of that cycle myself, right? We're not going to keep saying that we're the ones who are supposed to do everything for the kids while they're the ones being disrespectful to us. No, you just give yourself a break by stepping out of it. That repetition you keep doing and the frustration you keep feeling. Fitter, try and test it. This isn't easy. What you're saying isn't easy. And what you're going through is that easy.
And what you're going through, and even if what you're going through is easy, does it make you feel comfortable? The results are good, but don't try it. I'm not telling you it's like this or like that. Don't just be a supporter, be someone who actually works. No, do a small job in the afternoon or something, just a simple change. And you'll feel the difference. You'll be happy.
Exactly. When it comes to your relationship with emotionally immature parents, it ends up being a disappointing relationship.
Yeah, of course.
Especially when we are adults. So for example, if something like this affected you, maybe something we said touched you in one way or another, and you sat down with your mom to talk to her or with your dad to have a conversation. So what happens then? They say, oh, so now you've grown up, you're independent, you have a job, you get paid and you don't need me anymore, and now you're being disrespectful to me. So in what way is it a disappointing relationship? It's that I never admit I'm wrong. I never admit I'm wrong. So even if no. So you're trying to tell me that I'm the one at fault? I don't want to admit I'm wrong or not. But if you come and say, yes, you wronged me, for example, or that in a situation like this, you shouldn't have acted that way, you'll find that there's this sense of entitlement in parenting, that as long as I'm a father or a mother, for example, a mother once said, I never make mistakes. So her daughter said to her, so now you're infallible? Oh, Exactly. And it's said in that challenging way. That's why, what does a relationship with emotionally immature parents look like? It's a disappointing relationship.
Because I talk about them in videos.
Yeah, because you're heating them up. We didn't address that.
Even though in another video, I also said, what about the kids? You want them to do things for you just because you do things for them. Yeah. Like, how do you spoil them? Have you ever given them a gift just because you want them to see you? Okay, so they were done, you grew up, and your family knows how to handle things properly. You could spoil them a little, just a bit more.
So he doesn't know why he's being insulted because, as we said earlier, he doesn't know how to manage stress. What you said really hit home for him.
No, now I'm talking about the son. Maybe he could spoil his father or mother a little.
But when he tries to spoil his parents a bit, the relationship ends up being disappointing. Because one of the things in their interactions is that he really exhausts them with his relationship with them.
Blackmail.
Yes, emotional blackmail. And the feeling that...
Falling short.
So that you'll take care of me when I'm older because I won't be able to?
No, or may God never make me need you when I get older.
Exactly.
Why would I ever need anyone?
In a nursing home instead of... Don't you feel like what he's saying has nothing to do with anything?
I didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything and I'm not planning anything, but you feel like, as they say, they're always afraid of something. Always afraid of something. And then a lot of those things actually happen. Yes, they really do happen. So the relationship ends up feeling like you're just going in endless circles and you can't get out of it, always disappointing. And the easy thing, like we said a little while ago, when she says, when does she treat me differently from your brother? No, tell me about a specific situation. So how did that happen? You know, I might not have noticed. And sometimes you go deeper and tell her, I just want to tell you something so you can be mindful of it with me. My only consolation is that I try to go or that I try to read more and try to learn more about myself. But the way I was raised involved making distinctions between boys and girls. So excuse me if I sometimes do it unintentionally. But honestly, I'm trying to recover from that or move past it. So I apologize to you. And if it happens again, please let me know.
One of the best episodes I did an episode, but not on this podcast, on another podcast with a coach who was 67 years old. She started learning at 50 and she went back to cherish a child she hadn't supported, not to blame him.
Yes. They basically forgot what she was doing.
Who are these people? They're just so unfair.
Yeah, they thought so, right?
Because I have someone with me who attends and she sees herself as a mother like no other. So her son says, no, I remember when you used to take my phone away. And I remember when you told me to study. And I remember he has this intense anger towards her, even though she sees it as I did the impossible so my daughter could succeed.
Yes. But if you always have a response, you won't get angry. Like just recently, there was also a girl.
Endured patiently.
But the girl says to her mother, I haven't forgotten that you always punished me because of that person in the family. So her mother replied, well, you were always fixated on him. And every now and then, one time when we were on the stairs at home, one time you pushed him and almost cracked his head open. Yes, but I remember that you punished me for it. And I asked her, so what should we do? Well, you have to do something in front of people. You'll mess with my head in my sleep. If nothing's on my mind, it's the same.
Because here I acted consciously and deliberately, not impulsively.
Yes, there had to be a punishment because if you weren't punished for that, next time you might actually crack his head open. And those are long marble stairs, the boy could really get hurt. No, we also have to make a scene and turn things upside down. So what I'm saying here is this. As long as I don't feel like someone has stepped on my toes.
Yeah, I'll be honest and respond without being impulsive.
But for example, when this episode airs, if we get insults from people,
we go after them.
Check.
Go after them. Check yourself. No, I just insult them right away. Yeah, I find that aside from the ones they delete from the comments, like all this just because I was asked a normal question. It's a long podcast. Yeah, a guy just asked me a single question. Why do women refuse polygamy? That's the question. That's all. So I started explaining the psychology of women and the psychology of men. And I was joking, saying the man is like a 14-seater microbus, just joking.
Yeah, but that's it. Enough now.
And by the way, I posted something yesterday too, or maybe the day before and last week as well. The people who object know that they've taken it personally.
Right?
It has to be something personal for them.
So here, ask yourself, what made you take the matter personally? In what way did the topic touch on something about you? Or what even gives you the right to cross boundaries? And this is one of the things that happens in relationships with emotionally immature parents. That just because I am your father or mother, then that means your boundaries are up for grabs.
That's not okay. Your boundary shave, you ever asked yourself this question? Is it even possible to have boundaries between me and my father and mother?
Yes, it is possible.
At every age, there are different boundaries.
Yes, because you, especially if you married and have kids, you'll find, for example, people saying to you, what is it? Is it normal for my house key to be with someone I don't even know? And they just open the door and walk in like it's nothing?
I'm totally against that. Either he stays with them as he is.
In case.
You forget. If you forget, yeah, that's okay.
But.
Open the door. No.
What is it? And if that's not comfortable for you, even if it's for that reason, find another solution. If it's just in case you forget the key, as long as that's the issue.
Like if he spends half his life doing that?
A little bit. Whenever I studied this topic, it was as if my mind was deleting it. Denial. I spent years studying this topic. I didn't want anyone to say anything to me about my father or my mother because they're placed on this sacred pedestal for us just because they play the role of parents and how they treat us. Like we can't make mistakes. Who is it that's making mistakes again or what? After you grow up and actually become important.
So if the kids come and blame you while you're still in the deleting or denial phase?
I keep repeating. Denial, repetition.
What I mean is if the kids come and blame you while you're still in the phase of mom and dad never made mistakes, you'll fall into it. But once I realize that they do make mistakes, I could understand that when my kids come and blame me, maybe I made mistakes too.
I saw a mother whose daughter actually told her, Mom, I feel you. And she started to deny it. That means she started to move out of the denial phase and gradually began to walk the path of recovery. So when her daughter came and said to her, what did she say? Why didn't you ask me? You asked my brother. I feel you treat us differently. So she didn't deny her daughter's feelings. She said, no, I really did it. Okay, remind me. Yeah, maybe I really didn't notice. But you have every right to be upset. If I did that, you have the right to be upset. Just remind me. And if I do it again, draw my attention to it. And I'm sorry.
But the cycle is over. The harm has stopped.
But if I am emotionally immature, if the father and mother are emotionally immature, what happens then? When does that happen? Where did that happen? What happened? And so it's because you want to go out at night. You feel there's always some denial, some lying and unjustified anger. As if I touched the sore spot, as they say. Why not just deal with it? There was an abscess and I just touched it. Why not drain it? So you can feel better, so you can be at ease before I am. You'll feel better. So emotional immaturity creates a phobia of what? I'm afraid to express my true feelings and thoughts. How dare you, as my child?
Who are you in Egypt to talk back?
I'm your mother. I'm scared, but I can't say that. So what happens? There's a projection of sadness and anger onto her daughter or son, whoever it may be, because showing your true self or your real thoughts is something scary.
Of course, yes.
So better not.
It's scary because you don't know what will happen after you reveal yourself. But once you see the results, you feel reassured.
Absolutely right. Last key point.
A person has an unknown side.
That's true.
So I don't know what would happen if it came out.
So what do? We've reached a point where we deny our feelings and don't know how to deal with them to such an extent that we're actually afraid of them. So one of the most important traits of emotionally immature parents is this. The focus is entirely on the physical and real aspects.
Meaning
What are you lacking? You eat, you drink, you have clothes, you go to the club. I get you the best food and the best drinks. So why are you upset? Is it that you can't find food or drink? So the children, is it me? Yeah, I am upset, but I really don't know. I don't know how to express what's inside me. But I feel a sense of isolation. I feel down. I feel tired. I feel I don't know who to talk to or where to turn. But logically, you're right. It's not that I don't have food or anything that, thank you, I eat, I drink, and I have clothes.
But I need you.
I need you. I just don't know how to say it to you. Especially when she asks you, but in a way that feels she's comparing, what are you lacking? You eat, you drink, you sleep, you study, what more do you want?
Okay. If I just sit here and don't eat, I'll still say okay to you?
Yeah, if you don't find anything to eat, you won't have anything to eat. So you start to feel I'm scaring you about the past or about the unknown future. And honestly, if I'm talking to you this way, you'll just be waiting for me to finish so you can end the conversation with okay and leave. So this is the complaint of most parents. They say, when my kids reach adolescence,
They become distant from me. They isolate themselves.
he talks to me while sitting in his room. And when I speak to him, he becomes disrespectful, picks up on a word I say is just not before. Honestly, he used to be polite and obedient. So for them as well, what's he called? The golden child is the one whose traits are listening and obedience.
Yeah, I just look at him and he sits down.
Yeah, that was it. Just a look was enough.
But the other one, I look at him and he starts jumping around and sticking out his tongue.
I hit him and he says, that didn't hurt. I hit him again and he just sits quietly. But this one, I hit him and he says, that didn't even send me away. No, it's not easy. I can't deal with him. So she doesn't know how to handle him. What is this? You don't even know how to handle yourself.
And sometimes, or very often, we diss the child who has the same trait as you.
Exactly, because he's a mirror for you.
He exposes you in front of yourself.
Yeah, yes. There was a mother before who said, ever since she started at your school, she talks back to me. Every time I say something, she tells me, no, that. And she says it in a certain way. So once she was talking to a consultant and she overheard them talking. So the consultant asked her, did she start doing this only after coming to the school? Was there nothing this before she joined? She said, no.
In the same way, in the exact same way.
So she asked her, look, how do you say no yourself? She got embarrassed. Her face turned red. And she said, yes. She told her, she's copying you. Yes, maybe it started when she joined the school. But the way you say no is exactly the same. And really, the girl says it exactly the same way you do. So for me, the way the consultant handled it was really great. And it was also very nice of the mother that she didn't deny it. So the key point here is the solution, not denying it, right? Because denial keeps me going around in circles. As a father or mother, I want to get out of that cycle myself, right? We're not going to keep saying, we're the ones who are supposed to do this for Lyle. They should be rude to us. No, you just need to give yourself a break by stepping out of it. This repetition you keep doing and you're stuck in it. I've tried, look. This isn't easy. What you're saying isn't easy. But is what you're going through easy?
And is what you're going through making you comfortable? The results are good, but don't try it. I didn't tell you what exactly it should be. Don't just be a supporter. Be someone who actually works. It doesn't mean it worked. Something small in the afternoon, for example. So change your source, improve it. The result will make you happy.
Exactly. Your relationship with emotionally immature parents is more often than not always so deeply, profoundly, and truly incredibly disappointing.
Of course.
Especially now that we're adults. So, for example, if you were affected by by what we said, and you felt that it touched you in one way or another, and you sat down, for example, with your mom to talk to her, or with your dad to talk to him. So what happens then? They'll say, oh, so now you've grown up, become independent, started working, earning your own money, and you don't need me anymore. And now you're being disrespectful to me. So in what way is this relationship disappointing? It's that I never admit I'm wrong. I never admit my mistakes. Even if not. You mean to tell me that I'm the one at fault? I don't want to be wrong, or maybe not. But if you come and say, yes, you wronged me, for example, or that in a situation it wasn't right for you to act that way, you'll find that. There's a sense of entitlement in parenting that as long as I'm a father or a mother, for example, a mother once said, I never make mistakes. So her daughter said to her, so now you're infallible above making mistakes? Oh. And it said just that in a challenging way. That's why, what does a relationship with emotionally immature parents look? It's a disappointing relationship.
Because of the videos I talk about. Yes, because you stir them up.
They're being confronted.
Even though in another video I told the kids, you want them to do things for you just because you do things for them. Yeah, you spoil them. And maybe you once bought them a special gift simply because you want them to notice you. Well, that's it. They're done. You've grown up, matured, and know how to handle things properly. Maybe you could spoil them a little. I mean, do it more often.
So he doesn't know why he's swearing. Because as we said a little while ago, he doesn't know how to manage stress. Your words just go in one ear and out the other.
No, now I'm talking about the son. Maybe he could spoil his father and mother a little.
But when he tries to spoil his parents a little, the relationship ends up being disappointing. Because one of the things in their interactions is that he really exhausts them with his relationship with them.
Blackmail.
Emotional blackmail and making me feel
falling short.
So that you'll take care of me when I'm old, as if I won't be able to.
Yeah, may God never make me need you when I get old.
Exactly.
Why? Why doesn't God make me go on Hajj?
In a nursing home instead of you and whatever else. So you feel what they're saying has nothing to do with anything.
I didn't do anything. Yeah, I didn't do anything and I don't intend to do anything.
But I felt, as they say, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. They keep being afraid of something. And in so many cases, it actually happens. Yeah, it happens. So the relationship ends up feeling you keep going around in circles in it and you can't get out. It's always disappointing. And it's easy. We said a little while ago when someone says, when did she come between me and your brother? No, tell me about a specific situation. So how did that happen? I might not have even noticed. And sometimes it goes deeper and she tells her, I just want to tell you something so you can be considerate with me. My only consolation is that I'm trying to work on it. By going to a therapist or something by trying to read more and learn more about myself. But the way I was raised, there was always a distinction made between boys and girls. So, sorry, I might be doing it unintentionally. But honestly, I'm trying to recover from this or get past it. I apologize to you. And if it happens again, please tell me.
One of the best episodes I did was actually not on this podcast, but on another podcast with a coach who was 67 years old and started learning at 50. She went back to valuing education, and people her age would blame her for it. Yes.
Yeah, so why are they forgetting what she's actually doing?
Who are these people anyway? Really?
They thought.
Yeah, because I have someone with me who attends, and she sees herself as a mother, no other. So the girls say, no, I remember when you used to take my phone away from me. And I remember when you used to tell me to study. And I remember, meaning she still holds a huge grudge against her, even though the mother feels she did the impossible just so her daughter could succeed.
Yes. But if you always have an answer, you won't get upset. I mean, just recently there was also a girl.
She feels sorry for herself.
But what does the girl say to her mother? I haven't forgotten that you always used to punish me because of that relative. So the mother replied, well, you were always fixated on him. And every now and then once when we were, on the stairs at home, one time you pushed him and almost cracked his head open. So yes, but I remember that you punished me for it. I told her, so what should we do? You have to joke around in front of people. What, are you going to split my head open for money? So here, as long as I have nothing to be ashamed of, because in this case,
I acted consciously, not impulsively.
Yes, but there had to be a punishment, because if you weren't punished for that, next time you might actually crack his head open. And those are long marble stairs, the boy could really get hurt. We also have to make a scene, drawing attention to ourselves, and set a clear example for others. So what I'm saying is, as long as I don't feel someone is stepping on my toes.
Yeah, I feel safe and I'll respond without being impulsive.
But for example, when this episode airs, if we get a couple of people.
We'll step on them.
Check yourself.
No, I get insulted all the time. I see it. Except for the ones they remove from the comments. All this just because you asked a normal question. It's a long podcast. Yeah, the guy just asked me one question. Why do women refuse polygamy? Just a question, that's all. So I started explaining the psychology of women and men. And I was joking and saying the man is a 14-seater microbus, just joking.
Yeah, ha 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 ha. But that's it, enough now.
And by the way, I wrote a post yesterday too, or maybe the day before, last week as well. When people object, know that they've taken it personally. Right? It has to be something personal for them.
So here, ask yourself, what made you take it so personally? Yeah. What exactly upset you, or what even gives you the right to cross the line? And this is one of the issues we face in relationships with emotionally immature parents. That just because I am your father or mother, it means your boundaries are fair game. This isn't right.
Your boundaries don't exist. I was once asked, is it okay to have boundaries between me and my father and mother?
Yes, it is okay.
At every age, there are different boundaries, right?
Yes, because especially if you're married and have kids, you'll find, for example, some people will say things, is it normal for someone else to have the house key? And they just open the door and come in as if it's nothing?
Against it, how's that okay? Either he stays with them as he is. If you forget, yeah, that's okay.
But
Opens, no.
What is it? And if it doesn't suit you, even if that's the case, find another solution. So if you forget the key, as long as that's the issue.
Like if they have it, they'll just come in half.
And I always say they put themselves, this is one of the traits, they put themselves in sacred roles just because they're the father or the mother. So I always wonder whether we actually do this or not. When we look at the stories in the Quran, I always ask myself, which side am I on? For example, when we look at the story of Joseph and his brothers, Sarai, we Joseph's brothers, the group, or are we Joseph? Joseph, who was wronged, and then God made it up to him, and who acted wisely with the wife of the Aziz, with the injustice of his brothers, are we Moses or Pharaoh?
No, God willing.
Moses, God willing, Moses. But it's our actions that really show it.
Yeah, sometimes we act pharaohs at home.
Sometimes no, thank God I try. Thank God I try when I'm working on myself to be aware that there's give and take and to know that it's a process. But that sense of entitlement I sometimes get, I am your supreme Lord. That thing.
I said I'd be patient.
I said it. That's all. It's either this or consider your mother dead. It's either this or you have no father. What is this? What do you call this?
Pharaoh's blackmail? Indeed.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what it is. No, as the Bible says, God commanded us to honor our parents, to show them respect, but he didn't give you the entitlement or the special privilege that lets you become someone who is emotionally drained by your children. So you're unable to give anything in your relationship with your wife, or she's unable to give in her relationship with her husband. She's unable to fulfill her role as a mother, or the cycle just gets passed on again. So we end up repeating the cycle of harm, but even worse, because now the daughter adds her own flaws too. And with the generation, that's even tougher. So things end up going in a bad direction for us. So here, do I always ask myself, when I hear the stories of the Quran, which side am I on? Your actions and your efforts are what show that. And the questioning, for example, Prophet Ibrahim, wasn't his father an idol worshipper? Yes, Prophet Ibrahim.
"Oh my father, oh my father, oh my father." And his son said, "Oh my father, do as you are commanded."
That's from one side. And from another side, why didn't Prophet Ibrahim follow the idol worshippers? Yes. What did he actually do with his father? He raised an important question. Do these idols really benefit you in any way? I mean, when you say,
We've read.
call upon them, do they really listen to you? And what else? I mean, since you worship them, so I started raising questions.
Now, Salman, the Parjana's father, I mean, he was the one who tended and maintained the sacred fire of the Magi.
So why do we deny our children the right to question and to ask such questions? It's this very thing that allows them to live with openness. And that's what the stories of the Quran teach us, instead of being narrow-minded. Yes, so the story of our Prophet Ibrahim teaches us that the most important thing is to ask questions. Is the son my Lord? No, that's not it.
When he asked God, he said, "My Lord, I am striving for success."
So it's about asking questions. I teach my children this, but when we teach them the Quran, we just bring in a sheikh to make them memorize it so I can feel I've done my duty.
Memorize I.
All he does is memorize without understanding, without seeing how this applies in his life or whether he sees it reflected in my actions or not. So the issue isn't easy, but it becomes easy if I start and make the effort. I shouldn't deny to myself that as a father, I need to improve my performance and learn more about myself. Or as a mother, I need this because it's beneficial for me before it's beneficial for my children in the long run and for their own future families as well.
And this counts as good deeds.
That's right, that's right.
So now we understand the impact of emotionally immature fathers and mothers.
Yes, and what does our relationship with them look in what context? And the worst thing about our relationship with emotionally immature parents is that it's as if they're following a scripted dialogue. They don't wait to see whether you will be dutiful to them or not. They've written a script and dialogue, metaphorically speaking. They assign everyone certain roles and do something called emotional enmeshment.
What do you mean?
Meaning that everyone in the family has a role, and if anyone tries to break out of their role, the rest of the family is rallied against them.
Okay, give me an example of this and tell me if it's right or wrong. Let's say I have 3 kids to help out at home and one is just slacking off. So if I say that everyone has to help out at home, that's not emotional enmeshment, right?
No, the one who's slacking off is just slacking off, for example. Yeah, he's always been that. He's really quite spoiled. His father definitely spoiled him, to be honest. I don't really know.
No, I'm talking about when they're still very young.
No, I'm talking about when they're grown up.
They're grown up. If he didn't learn when he was young, he'll keep doing this when he's older. That's if we're talking about the example of the one who's slacking off.
But as a father or mother, I get worried. Because deep down, I know that what I did or didn't do with them will make them drift away from me when they grow up, start working, travel abroad, get married, and so on.
Let's suppose it's me. I have 2 siblings, so we're 3 in total. I'm the one carrying my siblings. I'm the one shouldering all the responsibilities. And my siblings were the spoiled ones. So my dad knows that when we grow up, I'll be the one responsible. I will bring the money. I will work. I will be worried. I will continue, and we will continue the relationship.
Like that. The role is, it's you. You're the one I have to be strict with about studying. And you have to become something for a reason in their view, meaning so that you can take care of your siblings after I'm gone.
It's the same role as when we have employees. If we find an employee who's spoiled, we let him be. But the one who's actually getting things done, we give him more work. Exactly.
And excuses are made for this one and excuses are made for that one, but no one steps outside their assigned role, because if someone does, the rest of the family will be rallied against them.
So, for example, if the future child starts helping, they'll say, "See,
what did your brother do for you?" No, the one who's just goofing off is just goofing off, but he'll stay that way. His goofing off will develop over time. For example, he'll become careless at home, careless with his wife, careless with his kids. So you'll find that the one who's usually goofing off and you're carrying his load, you'll end up carrying his load even after he gets married. You'll end up carrying his load even when his kids start going to school.
And your older brother, the one who was responsible, he'll keep that way."
So here, the roles are just fitting the roles as we've distributed them, and you all just deal with it. The serious one stays serious, and the one who seems unserious stays that way.
He's that all life.
Yeah, he's always been that. So what's new now? Is it your wife or your husband that's making you act this way?
Her younger brother used to hit her. So after she got married, if she fights him, how is she supposed to handle it?
The problem is that everyone ends up playing certain roles, and it creates a situation of emotional entanglement. What is this emotional entanglement? It's when there's always a favorite child and a mother who plays favorites. That eldest son, you'll find that's him. He's a boy. Are you a boy? Yeah. I mean, but that's usually how it is, right? That's how people are, isn't it? He's a boy. You're a boy. Whether you're a boy or a girl, or if you're the eldest. I mean, even if she has 2 sons, the eldest is still the one she favors. She always picks one to give special treatment to. So the one who gets singled out, that ends up in a situation of emotional entanglement, which is giving special roles to that favored sibling. Yeah, you just have to submit if your brother mistreats you. That's normal. What's the problem with that? If your brother is upset and yells at you in front of his wife, that's fine. It's not about you. It's just that he feels a certain way. Maybe he's a bit jealous or something. I don't really get what. We keep making excuses for all his bad behavior. So here, the children start to question things when one child is still being favored. This is how emotionally immature parents behave. They show favoritism toward one child, so the others start to say, oh, so you do know how to care.
See how to really listen to him and actually handle his anger, but not with me.
So why not me? Why? Why am I always in a secondary role? Why am I not the one in the leading role? And why isn't the leading role shared? Here it all comes down to emotional entanglement in what? As we said, the step I take for myself, or that I am your supreme lord. So I make it so there are no boundaries. So sometimes I play the role of the savior and sometimes the victim. Sometimes the role of the savior. Sometimes the role of the controller. Yeah, we play that. For example, here's an example. A well-known example. If the father passes away, for instance, you find the son rushing to play the savior's role with the mother. The favored son says, I'll bring my wife and kids and we'll come live with you in the house. Why? Because I won't leave you alone. He saves her from death.
And she put him in that role.
Then his wife comes in. She thinks, why am I living in a single room after I used to have my own house? Honestly, I don't want to live with my mother-in-law. How about we just visit her every day, if that's what you want? Come on, be reasonable. Is that what you really want? No. So what does the wife do as a result? She leaves him and the kids. Fine, what? I'll leave the kids with you and go. And he's shocked to find out, for example, that she's filed for divorce or something that... This is something very common. She leaves the kids. Aren't you the one who wants to live with your mother? All right then. You and your mother can deal with it yourselves. So now, what role does the mother play here? The savior. Don't worry at all. I'll raise your kids for you. I'll take care of it. Look at what we're doing. Look at all the consequences of everything. Don't worry at all. Let her go to hell. I'll be the one to raise your kids. Now, because the mother is older and her son is married and that's it, she can't raise the kids. So what does she do? She pulls in one of the daughters.
She becomes the one.
Is it okay for your brother to be in that situation? Look, it's passing the roles, a scenario being written. Is it okay for your brother to be in that situation while you're just living your life as usual? What if your brother is just chilling, not bothered by anything?
That's a big deal.
How much do you get paid for your job? How much do you get paid for your job? I'll give you the job. And you just sit and serve your brother and his siblings. So why did he leave his house? And why would I leave my house? Medicine is what? No. The roles get divided. And sometimes there's emotional entanglement because we want to be a strong family unit. That's why I say we are siblings. Are we Yusuf's siblings or is it Yusuf who is ours? For us to keep this bond from breaking, we need to fill any gaps that appear.
And we fill it by involving someone.
By involving one of your siblings. Like, I'm your mother, I'm your son, or his mother. Because I'm the one who will stay with my mother, I'll stay with my mother. But maybe your mother doesn't even need anyone to stay with her, so you find them assigning each other these acting roles. The result, look, this brings us back to what we said at the beginning of the episode. It's the result of emotional entanglement. Emotionally, I don't know how to deal with things.
I lack maturity.
Emotional loneliness. There's no maturity in a vacuum. A feeling of emptiness, and there really is emptiness. So we're just sitting there, and even when there's a void, when the father is no longer around, I fill it with someone else.
Anyone, as long as they can fill the gap, now the husband is gone.
The wife leaves, so I fill the gap with someone else. What if the mother can't handle it? I fill the void, lean on a third person. So now the daughter's home is going to fall apart. It doesn't matter. What matters is your brother. Is he her brother or her husband? No, they're not even comparable. No, what's happening here is that we're playing roles. Okay, so tell me, if I'm a father or mother and I know these are the consequences of my lack of maturity.
Haha. I would definitely stop this. I'd put an end to the ongoing cycle of manipulation and entanglement. And together, we'd carefully look for a real and lasting solution without dragging anyone else into the situation so that we can all truly work together to solve it as a group, making sure everyone is included.
And why don't we all get entangled while on the surface it looks we're solving things? Because I have a fear of emotions. I don't activate my genuine feelings and I'm used to filling that empty space, that void with anything. So based on that, we were raised this way and it continued. You were raised this too. And now you all think you're better than each other.
Tried, it worked.
It worked.
Exactly. Isn't it common for women to come to your parenting course, for example, and find that their mothers object to them attending? Like, we raised you and you turned out just fine.
Exactly. And as we said, the very primitive part of our brain tells us that safety lies in familiarity. So that's what we know, what we were raised on and what we raised others on.
Their fathers?
Yes. Just the question that Prophet Ibrahim posed. That's exactly what he found his own father and his whole family doing. But did he just follow the same pattern or did he question it? What does the story tell us? It tells us that we need to question whether what we're doing is right or wrong. So when someone comes along in the middle because adaptation starts to happen, look at what we're doing now. We keep blowing the issue out of proportion. And we keep thinking about it. This is a reality that's happening because it starts to become established. Adaptation mechanisms start to develop among the kids who have grown up, gotten married. Each one has their own family and children now. Adaptation mechanisms between someone who is called excluded and someone who is internalized. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
It means these two adaptation styles. The internalized one, for example, is when I can't find answers from you, and your world is a puzzle that isn't put together properly, and I've lost trust in you, and you've proven that to me in every possible way throughout my life until I reach 30 or 40 years old.
All right.
So what does he start to do? This internalization style makes him look for other fields of knowledge. He sits and listens to us. Just he's listening now and says, yeah, what? You're right. How do this? It's you telling my own story. So what does this induction method start to say? Where was the root of the problem, guys?
Is he trying to find the root of the problem to solve it or just to look for it? He wants to know the root of the problem so he can keep playing the victim.
So he starts telling you, I just want to get to the root of it. We're not going to ask why this yellow leaf fell. Are the roots healthy or not? I remember once I was sitting and I made a strong connection to this topic. There was this man who comes to take care of the plants every day. So what did I see him do? A plant that looked perfectly fine on the outside. Nothing seemed wrong with it, but he went and pulled it out, holding that wheelbarrow thing with him. And he just yanked it out, roots and all, and threw the whole thing into the wheelbarrow. I asked him, why did you pull out the plant that and throw it away? He told me, because its roots are rotten. Just look, sir. And I actually found that the roots were rotten. So what does this intervention do here? It solves the problem by asking, where is the cause and effect? Where is the root? Where is the root cause, everyone? So here, when psychologists studied several cases, they found that the root cause is that we don't know how to manage our emotions. So these emotions are activated and we're always on fire, living with coping mechanisms. What does coping mechanisms mean? It means we're living in a parallel world.
We're not living in the moment. We're not living in reality. We've created an imaginary reality for ourselves, a virtual world that we just live in.
So this intruder is the one who starts looking for a way out. I'll look for other people. I'll see, guys, what's going on. Let the baker bake the bread. And the people who talk about the humanities or the psychologists who spend their lives doing research and studies, what are these people saying? Maybe I find a solution with them. So he starts looking for a solution outside and comes to see with his family.
He tries the solution to see if it works or not.
He'll try the solution to see if it works or not.
If it works, great. If not,
no, because in a significant number of cases, it doesn't work. Because anyone we call exceptional, the person who steps out of the herd, steps out of the group, the whole family is mobilized against them.
Be careful, Manzizi. When the girl found out that this was the reason for her hyperactivity and impulsiveness, she wanted to confront her mom and dad. She said, what I have and this anger I feel is because you made me feel I was stuck in this room. Yes. So her father replied to her saying, you were an unbearable child, and I couldn't relax or have any peace except by locking you in that cage I used to keep you in. And then the mother said, I was overwhelmed too. Your father was so temperamental and would have taken it out on me. So the only solution I had to keep him away from me was to put you in that room. Did any of them come to a decision? All right. Did we reach a solution? After a while, the mother started to understand. Yes.
So they also admitted it, but usually no.
But admit that you are the reason.
Yeah, no, usually they say it's you. You. I'll leave right away. Why are you talking to me that?
He did that. He really did that.
What solution are you talking about? I haven't seen the series, so I don't know what he said.
He said, what? In the end, what is it about? What is it about you? Everyone will come and tell me it's a disease.
Yeah, yes. So I start to doubt and distort reality. Because my distorted reality, it's you're exposing it. So what do? I pull away from you and distort things. I distort your reality, the information you have.
They left.
Every woman who takes a course comes back and starts analyzing us or what?
And they've already left.
Exactly. And every now and then, whenever someone can't find anything to do, they come up with a new disease for us, something new.
Input from several senses.
People who can't find anything to do. And it's the profession of those who have no profession. And we start distorting reality so that the distortion inside doesn't show. When there's someone in an organization who doesn't work, so they keep bringing down the great bear.
To sparrow.
And it becomes a sparrow. And for what? So that the ones who work don't stand out and the ones who don't work, right? The clean one exposes the distorted one, right? So what do I do? Distort, scribble. So it doesn't show. That's it. So the child or perhaps the outsider who begins to notice and see other things for the family, that's a real warning bell.
But if he gets followers, he becomes stronger.
They start mobilizing against him in every way, excluding him, kicking him out, and cutting off all communication. Because they are simply not qualified to listen to anything that contradicts their opinion.
Do not listen to this Quran and make noise during it.
Exactly. So look, it's the same thing when we listen to the Quran. Which group are we with? Especially since that group, which is supposed to be always described as a few of them. A few of them, are we among the few or are we just the many? Do I want to walk alongside the few who strive? And this is where the breakdown happens. Recovery here is actually preceded by a state of collapse.
Of course, it's a collapse. Everything you're going through.
It all falls apart. It all falls apart.
It falls apart, a tree uprooted from its roots.
Uprooted from its roots and thrown in the trash. He treats it a tree that's been thrown in the trash.
But sometimes the person intervening has a bad approach, so you don't listen.
Sometimes, and sometimes it's actually them, they press the trigger that makes it bad. That's why in recovery methods, we always learn how to regulate our breathing before we speak. Let's see what we're talking about. What's the goal of what we're saying? What do we want to achieve? We shouldn't provoke anyone, no matter what. Change the subject if you don't know what to say. I've noticed that I'm about to get up, but your parents know your triggers very well. Yeah, one of the things they did was that when they knew your weak points, they kept them aside as a tool to prey on you.
A card.
Imagine that.
Intimidation card. A provocation card.
A tool for your prey. Don't you dare step outside the role they've assigned you. If you step outside the role, don't be upset. Now here comes a question. Do we consider the submissive person to be dutiful?
No.
I mean, if I stayed silent out of fear of harm, is that considered dutifulness?
No.
And that's a question the person involved asks. Like, what if I stay silent because I'm afraid you'll hurt me? Or afraid you'll say, that's all I have, take it or leave it. Well, that affects my other roles. Well, then I can't live my life. Well, I don't know how to practice. So in this way, I'm being unfair to other people just so that one person is the only winner, the only one guaranteed to have me under their feet for the rest of my life. Is that right? Is that what God wants?
No. When Prophet Ibrahim spoke to his father, yes, oh my father, and with respect, and he asked him, did his father, after he called him, oh my father, very logical questions and answers, did he then accept Islam? Did he look at him and say, what is this? He don't ask you to...
Yes, it's literally just as I told you. It's you. You become a source of threat. You feel you're a threat to your father and mother. Yeah, I don't even know, a threat from what?
The threat is that what you're doing might strip away authority, instead of it being the authority of God.
The authority of God.
Now, it's mates about me. Why did Pharaoh stand up to Moses? And Nimrod with our master Abraham, I give life and cause death.
Yeah, yes. So when I say that I deny myself wrong, what am I doing? When I say I never make mistakes, I mean, is it this? As fathers and mothers, just because we got married, someone proposed, I married him, I had a child, 2, 3, 5. Does that mean I've become infallible, incapable of making mistakes? Oh, wow, really? What a surprise. How amazing.
And put the TV in your pocket.
Of course not. Otherwise, why would heaven and hell exist?
God says in the Quran, so whoever disbelieves in false gods and believes in Allah, tagut means going beyond the limits. Yes. So the authority of the father and mother, they do have authority. Yes, they have the right to be obeyed. Yes, but that right has a limit. So when you give someone rights without accountability, no discussion, nothing at all, then it turns into tyranny.
He who feels safe from punishment misbehaves. And here, it's not just misbehavior. Here, it's an abuse of authority and every other abuse you can imagine.
Look at countries with political problems, dictatorships, they're held accountable.
And let me tell you something, before we continue, I always say this, before I hold the state accountable, or those countries, or the ruler, or whoever, and in history, whether it's Mussolini or Hitler or whoever, look inside the homes, what's happening inside our homes? So if that's how people behave, then you should start holding the family accountable from within. What is the family? It is the nucleus of society. Exactly. So if every family holds itself accountable, if every father and every mother holds themselves accountable, then all of this, the ripple effect, as they say, the impact will spread. And here, a severe breakdown happens, both for the person intervening and for the family itself, because there are people just sitting and watching, thinking, wow, I want what they're talking about, but I'm afraid. So let's just sit and watch the rest of the siblings and see what happens to the one who spoke up, what will be done to them.
For example, I once had a lecture about 20 years ago, and there was a sentence that I really did. After people finish watching, they'll have 3 options in front of them. The first is to take the initiative and make a move, to get involved. The second is to just watch and see if it works for someone else, then try it themselves. And the third is, what are you guys even talking about?
Yeah. The third type is, what do you want me to say? I'm fine. Just don't bother me. Do whatever you want to do. Just don't annoy me. Yeah. Yes. That type is always present within the family. And then there's the type who's, wow, I wish I could have that. But what is it exactly?
But I'll wait and see if it works out for someone else. I'll copy them.
And in the son who is this an advantage? Does he get a preference just because of that? No, he gets a preference because we want him to, so that when one of the kids gets something special, we can say, ours is ours. So this also raises a question here. Is the favorite child, I wish I could be in his place?
No, he just wears things that make him look powerful, but it's just for show.
He wears things, she's just putting on a front. He's just putting on a front. So is that really what I'm aiming for? No. If I became the favored one, I'd be in trouble, they say. Anything that goes too far becomes harmful.
What a plague it is when things go too far.
Going too far. So what is it that prevents recovery here? It's that we're afraid of collapse. But here there's a very important pivotal question that makes a difference in the recovery process. When someone experiences a collapse here, is it their true self or their false self that's collapsing? And the false self is, well, false.
I'm wearing a bow tie on a torn shirt. That's all. So as soon as you take off the bow tie, the torn shirt is exposed, right? It will get stitched up, changed, fixed, and repaired. I mean, I have a course and it's all about deep inner repair. So I tell them this right at the beginning. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Look, just so we're clear, the first lecture might resonate with you on some things, or it might not. Maybe by the third one it will. By the fourth, you might find yourself feeling depressed, crying, and falling apart. It will start from 5 to 6. That's when you begin to make progress. Yes. But at first, you break down. A breakdown has to happen. And I actually feel happy when a client comes to me and cries. I cried and I excelled. Honestly, if you haven't, then you haven't made progress.
So that's what makes people afraid of recovery. He's telling you, I don't have the luxury of breaking down.
We don't have that luxury.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I want to go to a therapist and I know some really good ones and all that. But I know that I'll go through a phase where I'll fall apart and I can't afford the luxury of breaking down when my life is already a mess.
Exactly. Let's say your life is a mess and you're living at only 30% quality of life. If you break down for 2 weeks, your quality of life could go up to 80. So those 2 weeks, it's when you buy something now and lose a bit. As we know, it drops a little, then goes back up again, drops a bit, but eventually it will rise above.
Absolutely right. And it will show, because here, after this breakdown and the information that touched your true self, your real self has started to do something.
It's pushing, so it won't let you go back either.
You want to break the barrier you've created and you want to breathe.
And even if you refuse the breakdown, you still won't go back to how you were before you learned this information.
So simply, recovery is not being afraid of the collapse of your false self. And here's a really nice exercise that I personally do several times. You take a sheet of A4 paper, divide it in two, and write my true self on one side. Then you start to remember when you were a child up to the age of 7, what did you love? What did you enjoy? Among the adults you saw, what did you admire about them? This is your real self. And why do you him? For example, when I wrote that I used to something about adults, I did my father. Why? Because I felt he was strong and I felt that he was trustworthy, that people trusted him, and that when he said something, he did it. So I found myself writing that. And that's what I admired about him. Who else? My uncle, because when he came back from traveling, when he greeted me, he would kiss my hand. So I felt something. I felt that this politeness, elegance, and gentleness really appealed to me. So what else did I before the age of 7? That was my true self. Why did I get upset? What made me happy? When do you get happy? Who did I avoid? And why did I avoid them? And what people did I see as bad or harmful? And why did I consider them bad or harmful from my perspective? That is the true self. Now, the self that developed defense mechanisms.
Because I couldn't reach it.
Because it can adapt.
Because you couldn't reach that.
Who is the harmful person in your life? You find yourself writing down someone. You would never imagine that you would write them down as a harmful person. And why are they harmful? Why are you putting up with them? And what are the defense mechanisms that you developed? You'll find yourself torn between being a bit harmful to them so you can protect yourself from their harm and letting them hurt someone else instead of you. Or you stand up to them, get hit, get insulted, and go through all sorts of things. So this is a harmful person. This harmful person could be a family member throughout your life.
It could be a friend. It could
be a friend, or it could be someone who is forced upon you in one way or another within the family. but the father and mother didn't see that this person was constantly hurting you. And you start developing coping mechanisms, not just with this harmful person, but with everything in life. So you end up living with a fake personality. So here, if you want to heal, the fake shell you've built will collapse. This is the fake shell. You'll actually feel relieved when it falls away from you.
Right? As soon as we start working on the real self, that's it. I'm riding a boat from one place to another, and I keep building on the boat. Even though you have your own island, you could build whatever you want on it. But all the buildings I made just flew away.
So here, he's telling you something really nice. He says you experience a state of awakening. You know when we come out of surgery and wake up in the recovery room?
We flail around while we're there.
But at that moment, you're afraid someone will hear you because you're saying the real thing, and that's not allowed.
Man, wife, enter.
But he always tells you, when he comes out again, he says, yeah, in the recovery room, in that recovery room. You hear the sweetest words, yeah? So the psychologist tells you that after this breakdown happens, yes, and give it a chance to happen because you need it. You need to see all these wrong things as they collapse, seeing it with your own eyes, even if it hurts. After all, you're already in pain. You're already channeling all your emotions into the wrong place anyway.
It's burning up. Yeah, I'm sitting with the car engine running, but it's in park, so it's draining the battery and burning fuel. You're just revving up.
You're watching me now, parked, but I'm pressing the gas pedal. You're telling me you're wasting gas for nothing. You reacted. I mean, you're fine, so it's the same thing. We just want to burn gas for no reason. You're burning gas for nothing. And when the gas runs out, we go fill up and burn more gas for nothing. What's going on? What's going on? So when I tell you to go all out, you say, no, you're scared because the mind is burning.
But at least move.
The oval mind tells me that safety lies in the familiarity. And then, are you going to go against the group? Now, I'm no longer a family. I've become a band of brothers. What did they say to Joseph? We know. So you start to wake up and ask yourself, what is it that you really love? You start to wake up and wonder, how is that possible? If I ask the question right now, what does the person listening to us love? What do they love to do? What is it that makes them happy?
No, there are a lot of people who don't know that.
What should someone do if they don't want to take care of themselves? What should we do? So, for example, among the things in this exercise, you might find that when you were young, you wanted something. For example, girls wanted to ride bikes, but they were forbidden from riding them for some reason. So you find that in reality, what does she really want? I want to learn how to ride a bike or learn to swim, for example, as an adult. Why? So I can do the thing I always wanted to do. They're doing it for themselves. So all of this doesn't justify you sitting around as a victim of circumstances, of letters, or of your father and mother. Because if you really enter the process of healing, you'll actually be able to deal with your father and mother with a new personality.
And you'll become more compassionate and kind.
Yes, you'll get rid of the illusion in your mind that you're waiting for one of them to change.
And that's the point here. So it's not about blaming, we're repeating this again. The first thing is understanding. So I'll understand that they were in pain and didn't get the opportunity that God blessed me with. Or if they did get it, they didn't make use of it. Just, I was afraid of breaking down. I don't have any illegal land.
So you have to allow yourself to go through that breakdown phase in order to reach what I'm telling you about, to reach the stage of awakening. Do the things you love for yourself and practice exercises that support that. You'll find yourself reaching a point where you'll be surprised that you had also put them in an ideal mold. Yeah, dad doesn't make mistakes. That's how you were raised. Mom is life itself. She is mom. The female figure is mom. The male figure means dad. So you'll find that you were putting them on a pedestal and judging them based on that, and they lived up to your expectations.
I see them and I make excuses for them.
I'm not expecting any mistakes from them in the first place.
So even if there's something I don't understand, I'll make excuses.
Most of it. So you also find that after healing, how do you deal with things? You say what's in your heart without expecting any outcome. For example, if you tell your mom, I used to get hurt by something this, and I just wanted to tell you about it, and then, okay, and what else? Now you think I'm bad, now you think I've changed. So you won't get upset and turn it into drama. No, you're just saying it.
That's it, just straightforward. No, really, it's not bad, Mom. Yes, but I'm just telling you this so I can vent to you.
We call this the method of expressing and then letting go, which means I said what's in my heart, but I'm not expecting anything from you. I'm just telling you what's in my heart. All right, good night, Sobi.
There was a line in the movie, Fark Khebra Sherenobi had low self-esteem and thought it was impossible for any girl to love him. So he got into a relationship with a girl, got really attached to her and went through a lot with her. But in the end, she left him because she also had her own issues. She gets attached to older men as compensation for her inclination towards men, both financially and emotionally, so that he can exploit them. He gets tired and cries, and then he gets angry and leaves and lives alone for a while. He met her, so he started to talk and express himself, and she even said something to him at that moment. There was always a look in your eyes, but now I don't see it anymore. There was always a look in your eyes. You wanted someone to save you. It was as if you were screaming inside, wanting someone to rescue you right now. But now, it's you've taken control of your own life. So he smiled calmly, as if he saw her, and it was no big deal. And he wasn't affected.
That's true, really true. SubhanAllah, you can see it. You can really see it. Someone who's holding everything in, it's obvious, it's clear. And in normal interactions, you can see a brokenness in his eyes. You can tell there's someone who wants to be saved.
That's the line they used to pick up girls. There's sadness in your eyes. Ha 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 ha.
So here, he's saying that when you allow yourself to break down, you also allow your true self to awaken the self that you had suffocated, that you had almost killed.
You grow instead of staying stunted.
You mature. You really start to make sure that
It's real maturity, not just superficial.
maturity with awareness. That's why he says you develop a conscious closeness where you observe behavior and see it in your father, your mother, or whoever it is. And you thank God that you've reached the level of maturity, even if they haven't. But that shouldn't make you look down on them or see them as having a problem. Instead, it should make you lower your own unrealistic expectations of parents and not get too proud of yourself, because none of us are immune. It's a never-ending journey of learning right up until your last day.
Exactly. Of course. That's what life is, a journey of learning, growing, and getting better every day. The Prophet, peace be upon him, used to say that he would ask God for forgiveness 70 times, in another narration, 100 times. The scholars even said that he worshipped God to such an extent. The next day, when he improved, he would feel, why didn't I reach this level before?
Exactly. So here you might say, but my family could hear us. But my family is still the same. What should I do? When you allow yourself to break down and enter the recovery phase, you find yourself interacting without getting entangled in the relationship. Meaning you don't throw your whole self in. So you don't end up getting caught in the same cycle and the same role assigned to you again.
It's you're watching from a distance instead of being inside. You interact with empathy, not by internalizing.
With empathy, not by internalizing. But does that mean I'm dealing with my family coldly? Does that mean I'm being calculating with them when I interact? No, this way you're interacting within healthy boundaries to the extent that allows you to fulfill all your roles without excess or neglect. Because if you get too involved and dive in completely, you'll end up going in circles.
The vortex.
And then the vortex will take you and everything will be lost. I mean, no one in what we're talking about here. No one benefits, even if it appears to benefit. No one is benefiting. It's all misery. So when you reach this stage, and all of this takes time, it has its own period and then passes, you become free. You feel that you've been liberated, you activate your genuine emotions, and you learn to express them without excess or neglect. You free your true self. You feel liberation in the true sense of the word. You feel all your roles in every sense of the word. You feel that you are able to live. You can benefit yourself and others. And if you can't benefit, at least you won't harm. This is proven by evidence. You feel capable of managing in every situation, not just because I want to do this right now, or because I want to get angry right now, or because I want to complain, or I want to defame, or whatever, or I don't know how to act. So I have the right to lash out. No, you took your time struggling until you reached recovery. But you will taste the flavor of freedom, both psychologically and for myself.
Emotional maturity is maturity we lacked.
Here we move from being unable to express ourselves to emotional maturity. And this maturity makes my life easier and in turn makes life easier for others, right? So it's worth it.
And you break the cycle of harm. Exactly.
So my question here is it worth it for me to pursue this and go after it? Yes, of course.
The result?
For your own sake, try to do this. So I really hope that every father and mother do this, and I hope that what I'm saying, I'm actually striving to apply to a reasonable extent with the help of our mentors.
No more blaming or reproaching.
And working on improving myself, because the most important thing is that if I were to say what the takeaway is from what we've discussed, it's self-improvement, and that none of us are immune or isolated from making mistakes. Right? And at any moment, I could find myself in a situation even worse than the one I'm talking about now, right? So may God help us with ourselves. And I hope that we've managed to provide useful scientific content for people today.
It was wonderful having you here.
Thank you so much. And you really make it easy to have a smooth conversation. I genuinely enjoyed it, honestly.
Thank you very much. And I'm sure you'll all really, really, really enjoy this episode. And stay tuned for a new episode. God willing, peace be upon you.